One. Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. It is Sunday, July 4th, 2021, and we are going to check out a few things from Barreled Souls right here in Saco, Maine. Well, not right here in Saco, Maine, but right here in Maine. It's about an hour's drive, I think, to get to Saco. Now, I'm going to give you the rundown on these ahead of time because by the time I'm done with these, I'm not sure I'll be able to remember. Actually, these aren't too bad in terms of ABV, all things considered. Barreled Souls does have some really heavy stuff, but it's a great location. I love the atmosphere of the place. A few people have said it's their favorite place. Now, some of these I had picked up and had in my fridge. At the same time, Tony P. and his wife, Fingers and the Lady Fingers, thanks guys for picking up a few of these for me. What we've got here is Speakeasy Jungle Juice. That's one of the ones you guys got me. And it's a rum barrel aged Goza ale with orange, cranberry, lemon lime, and pomegranate. 7.5% ABV. Now, in this particular case, a lot of these are similar enough that I'm not going from IBUs to lower IBUs. I'm basically just getting the heavier alcohol content ones done first and then, shifting gears down a little bit. Blame Canada, also from you guys. Actually, I think you got me 4 of these. 4 out of the 5. This is a sour ale with cherry, almond, and marshmallow at 6% ABV. Fluff is my jam. It's a sour ale with strawberry and marshmallow, 6% ABV. Now, this is actually their, they have a marshmallow like a s'mores. Actually, no, this is just kind of a derivative of it, I think. Anyway, Superman Punch, Fruit Punch Goza at 4.9% ABV, and Currantly Blacked Out. It's a Goza with blackberries and currants at 4.9% ABV. Now, Blame Canada that I mentioned earlier, that's actually a collaboration with Merit Brewing. Looks like they're also in Saco, Maine. Okay, cool. So, like I said, 4 of these were supplied by some other folks. I had one of them in my fridge already. Now, I'm also posting this video at the very end of a series of Barreled Souls videos because I had a bunch of them filmed and had just not posted. So I decided to put them all together. And then before I posted that series, I wound up with 5 more new ones. They're hard to pass up, folks. There's a lot of really good beers put out by Barreled Souls, and pretty much everything they make has been barrel aged. So anyway, this is the wrap up. So, Speakeasy Jungle Juice, rum barrel aged Goza ale with orange, cranberry, lemon, lime, and pomegranate at 7.5% ABV. Not much else on there except that funky artwork I can always count on some interesting, I want to say fractal style artwork on a lot of these cans, but that's probably a misinterpretation there. Fractal artwork is basically computer generated random patterns to a certain extent. Anyway, I'm just running off the mouth. So, Speakeasy Jungle Juice. I'm smelling it pretty fruity from back here. I think I'm picking up on the rum. I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look appetizing. It actually is, and not everybody's going to pick up on this because not everybody has had some of the past careers that I have. This actually, it looks like bloody pus. So, I know it's not going to taste like that, but it looks like a very bloody, purulent mess. Not the most flattering comparison, but if you look down here, it's got that nice yellowish color, and then there's just a weird, it's got to be all the fruits in there. It's very hazy, very cloudy, looks quite thick. Oh, God, I wish I hadn't had that mental image because now it's kind of off-putting for me. I know it's not going to taste bad because Nothing from Barreled Souls tastes bad so far. But just the look and appearance of it is not appetizing. But yeah, that's probably not going to hit everybody the same way. I'm definitely smelling rum with an undertone of fruitiness. And I'm definitely getting sour off of that. And citrus. That's definitely sour. Like Sour Patch Kids sour up front. And it is resolving into, I'm getting lemon, I'm getting lime, I'm getting some cranberry, real tartness from the cranberry on the back end. Not really picking up on the orange so much. Maybe a hint of sweetness in the finish for the orange, and pomegranate. I'm not really sure what pomegranate's going to taste like on its own. I mean, there's some slight bitterness to it, which may be the pomegranate coming through. Overall, it's really nice. There's that nice punch of sour. Like I said, it's basically, Sour Warheads, Sour Patch Kids type of sour. Just that really intense sourness. And then those different fruit flavors start to resolve out of that, with a hint of bitterness and sweetness in the finish. Altogether, I'm liking it. I mean, you wouldn't know that it was a 7.5% ABV beer either. It's just way more sour and fruity than anything else. That rum flavor that I was getting at first has really kind of faded. But it's still there, and it's kind of complementing the fruitiness. I'm liking it. Hitting this one with a 4 and 5. It's got some complexity to it. It's got a lot of different flavors. It's not... I got nothing bad to say about it. It's going down really easy, really smoothly. I'm just not, getting like a wow or a hugely impressed reaction to it. But it is a solid option. And again, there's nothing I can say negative about it. I'm just really liking it. So I'm going to finish this one up probably pretty quickly here, and we're going to move on to Blame Canada. All right, so now we are doing Blame Canada. Blame Canada. I'm not going to sing it. Brewed by Barreled Souls and with Merit Brewing, both in Saco. 6.6% ABV. Now this is a sour ale with cherry, almond, and marshmallow. Every time I see one of their beers that they say has marshmallow in it, I think it's a different iteration on, for crying out loud, I should have looked up the name. One of their first beers I ever had from them was the s'mores one. Big thanks to Melissa and Terry B for putting that in my hands. But yeah, it was the first beer I think I had from Barreled Souls that incorporated marshmallow, and it's like this, oh, come on, the name is a play on a campfire or s'mores. Anyway, it's really good, and I think that they do several iterations of that beer, and that's when they come up with these new ones with different ingredients added. That's another really hazy one, but that's got a darker color, almost a ruby red to it. Reminds me a little bit of tomato juice, but towards the top where the light's barely getting through, it looks a little more brown. So that's an interesting color, nice and red. Also, a creamy look to it, just hazy and cloudy and creamy. That's the best way to describe it. So cherry, almonds, and marshmallows. Doesn't say if it was aged in a barrel. I'm actually getting a very neutral aroma off of that one. Maybe a hint of like a bitter cherry aroma, but very, very faintly. There's a more subdued sourness to that one than there was in the first one. Not that I should really be comparing them to each other because they are two different beers, but it's got a nice medium mouthfeel. And I'm definitely getting almond in there. Bit of bitter cherry. And maybe a hint of creamy sweetness that's probably the marshmallow, but not overly so. Mostly just a nice subdued sourness. And then a hint of that nutty bitterness from the almonds. And then a slightly bitter cherry in the finish. But distinctly cherry. A little bit of tartness there too. Really well put together again. Another beer that's just obviously very easy to drink. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Nothing else really coming out there. I'm going to have this one with a 4 out of 5 as well. Just a really solid, well put together beer that I'm not finding any negative things to say about. I'm loving the experience. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm just not, like getting a wow or an over the top reaction to it. But again, there's nothing bad to say about it. It's definitely a highly above average beer. I'm liking it. So this one as well is probably going to disappear faster than it should. And then we will move on to the third beer. Fluff is my jam. Yes, this is the third one from Barreled Souls. This is Fluff is my jam. It's a sour ale with strawberry and marshmallow. Doesn't say if it was barrel aged or not. See, at one point I was under the impression that everything that Barreled Souls did was barrel aged, and hence the name of the brewery. I'm thinking I might be wrong about that. But hey, either way, they're good beers one way or another. Now the fact that they're talking about fluff and saying it's brewed with marshmallow makes me wonder if it wasn't brewed with marshmallow fluff rather than actual marshmallows. Folks from outside of New England might not know what marshmallow fluff is, but it's something that we use here in Maine and other places a lot. The famous Fluffernutters, marshmallow fluff and peanut butter sandwiches. Ooh, this one's actually chunky. So it's very cloudy. It's got a nice pinkish color to it, but I am seeing chunks in that beer. Now, again, not to put too fine a point on it, but anybody who's seen any of these videos before knows that anything that's got chunks floating in it is visually unappealing to me. And I know, over the years, I've gotten better about this. I know that I'm not going to actually have to chew and swallow these chunks. They're just going to flow right down like the rest of the beer. But it always sets off these weird alarm bells in the back of my head. And I think that's partly the fault of Orbits. I don't know if you remember Orbits. It was basically a syrupy flavored water that had gelatin balls floating in it. And this was from the mid to late 90s. Orbits with a Z. And it didn't last very long because it was god awful. It was like drinking a syrupy fruit juice that was clear and then gelatin balls in it. Yuck. Anyway, partly I think that's to blame for my dislike of particulates in beers. But again, I've gotten better about this. I've learned that it's not that bad and you're not going to actually even notice them, so no need to really talk about it as much as I already have. But visually it's unappealing to me. Pardon. But this does look like a nice grapefruit, a pink grapefruit juice, honestly, with chunks in it. Somewhat neutral aroma. And maybe getting a hint of sourness to it. Another nice medium mouthfeel. It doesn't look that effervescent, but I'm getting some bubbles in the texture of the beer. So nice medium mouthfeel with some effervescence to it. I'm just looking, and it has a lot of particulates in it because I can see them floating around at all levels of the beer, even without the light from underneath on it. But I'm not picking up on any of that in the texture when I drink it, so. Bit of a punch of sour up front. Does resolve into a distinctly strawberry flavor. A hint of sweetness there as well. Not bad. I think I mentioned before it's a 6% ABV beer. And the strawberry is the more dominant flavor there. It's definitely distinctly sour, but so strawberries can tend to be sour at times. They can also tend to be a little bitter, but I'm not getting any sort of bitterness. It's mostly just a sour, sweet strawberry flavor. Very smooth, very well put together. I'm actually knocking this one down to a 3.5 out of 5, and I'm not gonna blame the visual unappeal because that's me. That's my hang up, not anybody else's. It's just that it's a strawberry sour. Honestly, it's not distinguishing itself from the field as much as some of these others have by having different flavors or evolving flavors. This is basically just a plain old strawberry sour with a hint of sweetness in the finish. So again, I'm going to try to say this only once during this video. On a scale of 1 to 5, 2.5 is average. So 3.5 does still put this at a distinctly above average beer. It's just not getting my attention, or I don't fancy it as much as I do the other two that I've had so far in this run. So that's that. And we're going to finish this one up. Chunks and all, and move on. All right, and for number 4, we are doing Superman Punch. This is a fruit punch goza at 4.9% ABV. No info on what barrel this may have been aged in. Now, I've got to say, I have done Superman Punch before. Not as a review on this channel, but the one time I did visit Barreled Souls with my wife, the Lady Plantain. She got the fruity beers, I got the more intense barrel-aged I guess mostly I stuck to stouts, barley wines, that kind of stuff. The more intense type of beers that they had. And she went for more of the fruity ones, and Superman Punch was one that she had. But because we each got a flight of 4, of course I tried 8 beers while I was there, not just the 4 in my flight. And I remember this being pretty good, so... Damn. Definitely effervescent. Managed to get a better pour on that than I did the others. That is just hazy, and again, it looks creamy. There's no better way to describe it. It looked creamy. And as a matter of fact, it's got a very nice pinkish red tinge that looks like Hawaiian Punch. Maybe that's where they got the name. Hawaiian Punch, haha. Superman punches you, it's going to be a little more like this. Superman Punch. All right, I don't know. I'm speculating there. But it does have a bit of a creamy looking head. The bubbles look very, very tiny. It's a beautiful looking beer. And it just smells. Honestly, it smells like a slightly boozy Hawaiian Punch. Yeah. And tastes a lot like it too. Doesn't say anything about IBUs, but there's an almost hoppy bitterness up front, but I suspect that it's not a heavily hopped beer, so it's probably just a bit of regular bitterness. Yeah, slightly bitter up front, but it fades very, very quickly to like a beery version of Hawaiian Punch. A bit of sour, a bit of sweet. Easy to drink. And again, at 4.9% ABV, it's lower than a lot of beers that I'm used to these days. This one's just smooth, easy, and nice and mellow. Pardon. This is a good summer beer. It's a good warm weather beer. It's fruit punch with a kick. And it is going to disappear very, very, very fast. 4-pack of these on a nice hot summer day. Nice and refreshing. I honestly think I'm hitting Superman Punch with a 4.5 out of 5. It's getting some extra points just for being so easy to drink and refreshing, and just really, it's so reminiscent of Hawaiian Punch that it's like having a slightly boozy Hawaiian Punch, which honestly takes me back. So the overall experience with this beer is more amazing than the flavor itself, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, this one's getting hit with a 4.5 out of 5. I'm gonna finish it really quick. And we're going to move on to the 5th and final beer for this video. And I think, I don't know, maybe four Barreled Souls videos before this. Individual beers each, so that'll put us at 9. Holy shit. That's a lot of Barreled Souls beers. But they're all good. And you're probably going to see more of them on the channel. So anyway, I'm going to finish this one up and we'll move on to the 5th and final beer for this video. Alright, and the 5th and final beer for this video is Currantly Blacked Out. Man, I'm loving that artwork on that. I'm going to put it up close. I know I haven't done this with the others, but I'm loving that group of circles. Yes, it's not that steady, but I'm one-handed here. Trying to do as much as I can with the GIMP hand, but it is what it is. Anyway, Currently Blacked Out. It's a Goza with blackberries and currants. 4.9% ABV. Now, honestly, I think I've had a few beers with currants in it, but the last time I significantly remember anything that took advantage of currants was Absolute Currant back in the day. They spelled it, I think they went with the Kurant. They tried to get creative with the label. It was an Absolute vodka that incorporated currants. And this was years and years and years ago. They packaged the thing with like a CD that had a bunch of computer games and crap on it. Yes, it was back in the day when we had CD-ROMs, not DVD-ROMs, because we didn't have that much data going on. It was like this jazz-style background music, and couldn't get it to run on some computers. Anyway, wow, way off in the weeds on that. But Absolute Currant was like it like heralded the era of flavored vodkas way too early, because Absolute Currant disappeared pretty quick, and then we didn't see anything about flavored vodkas for a few years, and then all of a sudden, like the citrus and the orange and all those other things started to appear. So anyway, I don't know, just a little peek into my past with alcohol, and maybe a history lesson for some of you folks. But Absolute Currant, absolutely. This beer is way more effervescent than any that I've had so far tonight from Barreled Souls. This has got a dark, deep purple or puce. That's a very dark puce color to it. Very creamy looking, just like the others. Not much light coming through there after the fact, but that is a thick, creamy looking beer. The puce color and a hell of a head on it. And I think, there we go. Now it's empty. The pyramid is one can shy of being complete. And it's going to stay that way, because this is the end of the Barreled Souls beers that I have currently available to me. Currently. Currant. Anyway. A bit of a neutral aroma on that. Anytime I don't get much on the aroma, I go ahead and I move my hand further down the glass. And it looks weird, but the fact of the matter is, I do wash my hands on a fairly regular basis. Maybe I'm slightly OCD, but I always worry that the soap that I use, the hand soap, might interfere with my sense of smell of the beer. But in this case, that was not the case. It is quite neutral. Yeah, maybe. This is weird. Honestly, I might be getting a hint of like a rubbery aroma. If you ever opened up a brand new, like a fresh can of racquetballs, and that slightly rubbery aroma of the sealed air, I'm honestly getting an extremely faint whiff of that. It's probably partly my imagination, though, so. Now, I don't know what currants taste like on their own. Does anybody? Honestly, does anybody actually eat currants? I've never seen them served anywhere. I've never seen them in a dish. I've never heard of anybody actually eating currants. So I've only ever seen it in vodka and beer. But what I'm getting up front is a nice dose of sourness. I'm distinctly getting a sour / bitter / berry flavor. So, you know, the blackberries are definitely there. And again, I don't really know what to expect for a flavor from currants, but trying to cast my mind back 20 fucking years or so to when I had Absolute Currant. I'm thinking it's similar. Yeah. Just overall, a nice berry flavor, but there's hints of sour, there's hints of bitterness. Burp. Pardon. It's got a nice medium mouthfeel. I think I keep forgetting, excuse me, to mention the mouthfeel on these. Obviously, the effervescence is not just visual, there's gas building up down there. It's good. It's good. I think the Currants are something unique because there's a flavor that I can't quite describe in there, and I have to attribute it to the Currants because, again, I'm getting that vaguely familiar flavor of the Absolute Currant without really having a frame of reference for the fruit itself. I'm going to hit this one with a 4 out of 5. Alright, so battery just died there. Hopefully you don't quite notice the editing slip there. But, as I was saying, this is another 4 out of 5 for me. So, overall, out of these 5 beers from Barreled Souls, 4 4s and, I don't know, actually I think there was one 4.5 there, and a 3.5. Worst case scenario, there's a 3.5 in there. So everything they've done has at least been an above average beer so far in this video. I don't know what I rated all the ones in the series prior, but they're definitely worth checking out. I love the place, I love their beers. They're really good. But these are just my opinions on these beers. Hit me up down below in the comments or the email link. Love to hear what you have to say. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.